broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I'm here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good.
You comfortable in that long sleeve shirt?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's a little warm out.
It is a little warm out. But it's supposed to be really cold in a couple of days, so I have been resisting turning the air conditioner on because I feel stupid turning the air conditioner on when 2 days from now it's going to be 40 degrees.
You feel like you can make it that long?
Yeah, I feel like I can suffer through. Like it's only like a degree above where I set things at the summer.
Yeah.
Because I set it higher at the summer, otherwise the AC just never stops running.
It never stops, yeah.
And you gotta get your hot weather pores.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I do.
No.
But it's the goal.
All right.
I suppose. Yeah. So it's like in the mid 70s outside.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a little humid.
It's long sleeve nice.
It's a little humid. Yeah, but this is one of those that's like made out of that stuff that's kind of cool. So it's not like, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
okay.
comfortable. So
I was trying to like look over my notes, and I'm definitely going blinder.
Yeah. I've been my eye doctor told me to be on the lookout for that.
That you're gonna get blinder?
She didn't use those words, but she definitely said that my eyesight would be changing with my age is what I was told. So, which is what it is, I guess. There's nothing you can do about it, right?
Well, I haven't figured out how to stop getting older yet.
Yeah, right.
I've had a lot of time to work on this.
Yeah. Well, time.
Although
the clock's ticking.
A huge portion of my life, I wasn't concerned with it because it didn't feel like it was really going to happen.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's the problem that everybody has. If somebody was born focused on that, they might come up with a solution for us.
That's true.
Nobody's focused on it when they're young.
That's clearly the problem.
I think it is.
Well, so things happened.
It's been a week. It's been a very tiresome week for somebody who follows the news like most people follow politics. Or follows sports.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, I follow politics like most people follow sports.
Yeah.
And it's been a very tiresome week.
But you also follow sports. Where do you find time for all of this?
It's tough. Yeah. It is tough. It's just, the news this week has just been exhausting, though.
Yeah, of course, it was the day after our last podcast that we dropped bombs on, invaded with a small force, and kidnapped the
sitting president.
The sitting president of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Back to those of you that said, "Oh, we're not going to invade Venezuela."
Well, so
have been saying that since the beginning of our podcast. Actually,
right. This has been a long time coming.
I guess it was eventually going to be true.
Yeah.
On a long enough timeline, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I want to talk about that as well, but what really stands out to me is that it is incredible that no matter how often the citizens of the United States express their distaste for war, regime change, being the world's police, through polls, rhetoric, election of new leaders, this imperial militarism continues.
Yep.
Unabated. No matter, it's a perfect illustration of Tom Wood's law, right? Like, no matter who you elect, you always end up with John McCain.
Always get John McCain. Yep.
In the last month, the U.S. has bombed Syria, Somalia, Nigeria, and Venezuela.
Yeah.
And you can add Yemen, Iraq, and Iran since Trump took office.
Yeah. And he was supposed to be the peace president.
Yeah.
I mean, they all run on that, but
that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Is that they all run on being the peace president, and yet every new president expands our military involvement in places around the world. And like, Venezuela is no threat to the United States.
I don't know. They got a lot of oil over there.
I don't know how that makes them a threat.
It doesn't make them a threat, but it makes them a target.
It makes them a good business partner.
You would think so, but we're not looking for a business partner.
No, that's true. So Dwight Eisenhower,
Yep.
who's the great General Eisenhower in World War II before he became president, said in a speech called "The Chance for Peace," which you can go look up. And I would like to have pulled a clip, but it's from 1953, and the audio is not great.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out a couple of lines from within the speech. And like this is heavily edited here, but I'm not taking things out of context. I'm taking them out of context in the sense that like you don't get the surrounding thing. I'm not misrepresenting.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say.
I gotcha.
He said, any nation's right to to a form of government and economic system of its own choosing is inalienable.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next line was, any nation's attempt to dictate to other nations their form of government is indefensible.
But we do a lot of that.
This was also, he's a bit of a hypocrite here, because this was also right before we overthrew Mossadegh in Iran.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So, but, I mean,
But the words ring true.
Yeah, and I wish we had an attitude like that now. I think I don't know how to explain this. To dictate the way of life to any other nation using the U.S. military, I think is completely immoral, unethical, and indefensible, like he said. And it's the same kind of thing that sets libertarians apart too, which is why I can be pro-life but opposed to abortion restrictions.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a good faith argument on the other side. There's clearly fuzzy edges, right? Like very few. I guess there's some out there, but essentially no one thinks that that a fetus is a life when it's only a few cells, which is why almost nobody opposes the morning after pill and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you're right. There's very few, but there definitely are.
There are some, yes, yeah. But like there's somewhere in between conception and birth where it becomes an independent life.
Yeah.
And like when that is hard to determine.
Yeah.
And so it's not my place to dictate to other people what I think the moral stance is and to use the force of government to impose that on others.
Yeah.
Like that's what sets libertarians apart from everybody else is that, yes, we have strong moral stances. We certainly believe in right and wrong, and we're opposed to people doing wrong. But in places where it's fuzzy, we don't think it's our place to impose what our opinion on the matter is onto everybody else using the force of government.
Yeah, because we're able to separate our political opinions from our personal in a different way because we don't really think there should be much of a government, if any.
Yeah.
So it kind of allows us to, like I said, I mean, I can believe that something's wrong and also believe that the government should be out of it. You know?
Yeah. And I think, like, looking towards the future of this, when has the U.S. sponsored or imposed a regime change that resulted in peace, order, stability, and liberal democracy in the place?
And that's where I think this particular one is interesting because everybody is all, well, you know, we swooped in, we got him, you know, there were no casualties on our side, minimal casualties on the Venezuelan. There was some, but not like massive, millions, you know.
Yeah, there's a few dozen soldiers and civilians.
Yeah. And everybody's taking this as like a victory lap, and we've got the guy and he's out of power. And, you know, the problem with all of that is like, that's never really the problem. Like using our military to do things. We got a great military. Like that's never been the issue. The issue is what happens to the country now. And like it's up in the air. Like to say that this is, I mean, I know that they're letting the vice president stay in, and they haven't the Trump administration hasn't supported the opposition leader. So
yeah, and that's so ridiculous too, because one of the reasons that they state that they're able to do this is because he was the illegitimate president, illegitimate
yeah.
leaders.
Yeah.
The votes were faked, and so we're so concerned about democracy that we're not supporting the person that we claim won the vote.
Yeah.
And instead, we're allowing the regime that we claim is illegitimate to continue the run of the country.
Yeah.
While we take the leader into custody and say that it's not against the international laws of immunity for sovereigns because he's illegitimate.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Like so.
Obviously, that's how concerned about democracy we are. Is that we claim that this other person, that this opposition leader, actually won the vote.
Yeah.
But we're not supporting that person to take over.
Yeah. It's all just, and you couldn't make it up, man. Like yeah.
I want to actually get this out of the way early. I want to play this Rubio clip because it's going to be 15 minutes of discussion just trying to remember all the hypocrisy in the statement. So this was from an interview with Kristen Welker, and there's a whole lot of real gems in that interview, but I only want to play
dwindled it down to this one.
I got like a 1 minute clip that I think is worth playing, and then like addressing some of the issues he brings up here. So let's go ahead and play it.
All right.
We expect to see changes in Venezuela. Changes of all kinds, long-term, short-term. We'd love to see all kinds of changes. But the most immediate changes are the ones that are in the national interest of the United States. That's why we're involved here, because of how it applies and has a direct impact on the United States. Okay? We are not going to be able to allow in our hemisphere a country that becomes a crossroads for the activities of all of our adversaries around the world. We just can't allow it. We can't have a country where the people in charge of its military and in charge of its police department are openly cooperating with drug trafficking organizations. We're not going to allow that. These things are direct threats to the United States, and we intend to use every element of leverage that we have to ensure that that changes. The one I would point everyone to is that our military is helping the Coast Guard conduct a law enforcement function, which is not just the capture of Maduro, but the enforcement of our sanctions. We go to court, we get a warrant, we seize the boats. And we think this is tremendous leverage, incredible, crippling leverage, which we intend to continue to use until we see the changes that we need to see that are benefit to the American people. And by the way, we believe to the people of Venezuela as well.
So now we know how Russia feels.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like this statement about, well, we can't have a country in our hemisphere be a crossroads for all of our rivals.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't an excuse for Russia, was it?
Exactly. Like we're literally funding a proxy war over exactly that type of issue against Russia right now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the hypocrisy is just never ending.
Yeah. We need to see these changes that are important to America, and we think that they'd be useful to the Venezuelan people too. I mean, it's an afterthought all the way through, and like they've already said that essentially the U.S. reserves the right to veto any election that they have. Like you got to pick the right person, and we don't care whether they're a Democrat or not.
Yeah,
I mean, if they elected another socialist regime, if it's a socialist regime that'll play ball with the U.S., we don't care.
That's all that matters.
If it was a total authoritarian that would play ball with the U.S., that would be fine. Otherwise, we'd have an issue with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the prime example of an ally of ours that's a brutal and oppressive authoritarian regime. But we don't have any problem with that because they play ball.
They're on our side.
Yeah. If we wanted to get rid of socialism, let's say that really was the point here. Yeah. What would the United States do then if they elected another socialist leadership cast in Venezuela, which history would suggest that they are likely to do? Argentina, as an example, has been voting in socialists for decades, even though they've also been suffering from decades of worse and worse standard of living, like a lower and lower standard of living. They didn't start voting for non-socialists until, what was it, 4 years ago, 6 years ago?
Yeah. It's a new thing there.
They've been voting for socialists for 50 years and have been suffering from a reduced standard of living year after year after year after year for at least 30.
Yeah. And that's it. Just talking about the socialism thing, that's the thing that astonishes me, that people in this country support socialism so strong. It's like, man, like, look around the world. Like, it's not the dream you think it is.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't make the statement in that particular clip, but in the course of that interview, he talks about that they need to restrict things so that we don't have this wave of immigration from Venezuela. Let me tell y'all, prepare yourselves for a wave of immigration from Venezuela after this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Trump's actions trying to shut down their economy in his first term that resulted in the wave of immigration from Venezuela throughout the Biden administration.
Yeah.
And this can't be any better.
No. I mean, one can hope, but there's no reason, no evidence to support that it's gonna be, you know.
Yeah. And then one other thing in there that I definitely want to address is when he talks about the sanctions and enforcing the sanctions and the sanctioned oil transports. And we go and we get our court orders and that give us the legal right. I mean, there's another clip where he's talking about that, and he's like, if that's not a legal, what is it? A legal reason, no, that's not
justification.
Justification, then I don't know what is. Yeah. So what court do you think he's going to? Do you think that they're going to an international court of sanctions or the WTO or something like that? No, they're going to like a normal federal district court.
Like the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah, to get court orders to impose sanctions and seize property in international waters and in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Like, how is that
not
legal?
Really the same?
U.S. law does not reach to Venezuela. I have a real problem with the U.S. thinking that it can enforce its laws everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And the truth is that it's just an excuse anyway. Like, if we wanted to do that, wouldn't we be going after, like, the Netherlands?
Yeah.
As an example, they've got a huge drug trade in the Netherlands. It's all legal there. Yeah. Well, we're opposed to that. Are we going to go invade the Netherlands? No, not. Because it's not. They don't have anything else that we want.
I was going to say, there's no oil there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's all that it is. And if we're going to really lean into this, like, might makes right policy on the world stage in our foreign policy, I think that we're going to be disappointed in the long-term results, because you may think the U.S. is never going to fall or whatever, just like housing prices, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a day where there's another more powerful nation on the earth. And we've set a precedent now that if you're the most powerful military in the world, then you can enforce whatever you want anywhere you want.
Yep.
China's not that far behind us.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a lot more resources.
Yeah. And like I say, these countries can band together too. I mean, we've already kind of forced Russia and China together, you know.
Yeah. And, Russia can't invade Ukraine because they're amassing forces, because Ukraine is amassing forces and killing ethnic Russians. But the U.S. can invade and kidnap the sovereign of Venezuela because he's sending drugs maybe in our general direction.
Yeah, not even directly. Like,
it's unreal. And this court case is a joke anyway. Like, part of it is based on U.S. law, which, again, unenforceable in Venezuela. So even if he broke these laws, he didn't break them in the United States.
Yeah, one of them I saw is like gun charges.
Yeah, exactly. That would be like California police coming in and searching my house and arresting me for violation of gun laws because of my arsenal here in Alabama, where it's perfectly legal, but not in California.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's literally what we just did here. And I'm curious to see, because they're going to hold this trial in New York.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's where most of the jury pool is going to come from, right?
It should.
Like, how does this play out if they let him off? Because I anticipate that being the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's reason to speculate that maybe this actually was an extraction.
Yeah.
That he was like our guy down there and he served his purpose and we need to get him out. I mean,
yeah, but then how does that play out now that he's here?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I'm
I've heard
swinging
that,
wild here.
Yeah, I've heard that type of speculation. I just don't see that being the case. I mean, maybe if he ends up getting off on this trial and then like being like sent like in exile somewhere to live out his days, maybe I could see an argument for that. But we're nowhere near that being what's going to happen here.
No. The other part is Rubio making it a point that this sanctions thing and the seizing of the boats and so forth is a law enforcement action. And man, federal officials have been falling all over themselves trying to make the case that this is all a law enforcement action and this is in no way an act of war.
Yeah.
Because clearly bombing a country and going and abducting its sovereign and bringing him back to the United States, nobody would consider that an act of war. Right? It's unreal how ridiculous they sound.
Yeah, yeah.
And who's buying this? I mean, clearly people are.
There's a percentage, but
not an act of war.
But the thing that irritates me about this and everything, it seems like, is it all seems to just like fall down party lines. Like if you're a Trump supporter, then this is all okay and he's done a service here. And if you're not, then it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And that just frustrates me more than anything. At some point, we have to get past the partisanship.
Well, there's some really silly other stuff going, and I'm gonna pick on No Agenda Show and again here, and I am a huge fan of the No Agenda Show. All right, everybody should listen to the No Agenda Show. It's great.
I agree. Yeah,
it's absolutely great. But like Adam has been going on and on, specifically about when Venezuela nationalized oil production, that it seized all this property of U.S. companies and so forth, and that like what about that? Two things to say about that. First off, that's not entirely true. Yeah. When Venezuela nationalized its oil, it paid off the foreign companies. Now,
they may not.
This is like eminent domain in the United States. Like what they paid these companies, these companies may not have felt was a fair price.
Yeah, and they didn't have a choice.
And they didn't have a choice, right? Because it's the government that's doing this in the same way that it happens in the United States. Yeah. I mean, but if this kind of thing excuses military action, then the military can get called out into Illinois or something because a bunch of businessmen are unhappy with the amount of money that they were paid out by properties seized by the Illinois government under eminent domain.
Yeah.
It's not any different.
Well, and something else to keep in mind as far as just that end of it goes, like these oil companies that spend all this money and invested all of this in Venezuela, which we're talking like back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
It goes way back.
Way back, but, yeah. But, well, I think that's when they started seizing everything, though, right?
Yes.
At any rate, like, that's speculative investing. Like, you knew when you was doing business in this country that what type of government you were dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other part of it.
It's
like,
not
I don't want the U.S. military to defend corporate investments around the world. That's not what my tax money should be for.
No.
I mean, it's not that I'm not concerned about corporate profits. I think that they have every right to profit. But at the same time, exactly like you're saying, like you gotta see the lay of the land. Like if you go and invest in a country that's unstable,
that's a
and you
risky
lose
investment.
The risk is theirs, not ours.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that's lost here. I mean, the fact that you would make the case that even if they had seized that property,
Yeah.
That it's the responsibility of the U.S. government to use its military to
make
enforce
the
the
oil
property rights
company
for corporations in another country?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's not how this works. That's not how it should work. But you're talking about one of the biggest lobbies there is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and the U.S. military consistently goes to defend the profits of corporations around the world, not to defend the people of the United States. That's no longer their purpose.
absolutely. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a point that I think should be strongly made, is that that we as a people, as a citizenry of the United States, don't approve of using the U.S. military to enforce corporate property rights around the world,
Yeah, exactly.
or corporate investment,
Yeah. Yeah.
corporate profits, corporate wealth. I mean, exactly. Like, you go in when they started seeing the tide turn in Venezuela, when they started seeing socialists elected, because this didn't happen overnight.
I was going to say this happened in phases.
Yeah.
So
Maybe they should have sold out of their investments down there. Said, "Oh well, we see a storm a coming.
yeah,
Like, maybe we should get out of this."
exactly.
And the thing is that they saw a whole lot of profits in the future potentially. So,
Yeah. Well,
but that's the risk of the investment.
and it's not like it bankrupted these companies anyway.
Yeah, I should get the U.S. military to defend my stock picks.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know that I have I felt like I could talk about this for an hour, but I've been just like
Yeah.
jabbering like all this time.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't think this is as rosy as the people on the right seem to think it's going to be. And by the way, this is the type of thing that is like splitting the Trump coalition between Iran and this. Like, the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for the Republicans, I think.
Yeah.
And that, I'm not a Republican, so it's not like I really have a dog in the hunt, but I did have high hopes for the...
According to everybody on the other side, if you're not a Democrat, you're a Republican.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I did have high hopes for this administration coming in. After the campaign that Donald Trump ran, like, there was a lot of reason to be excited about what was going to happen. And to say that I'm disappointed would be a massive understatement. Like, just haven't gotten...
Yeah.
The only thing I can really say as a libertarian that we've gotten out of this was Ross Ulbricht being pardoned.
Yeah.
Like, which was
the
a
best thing the administration's done so far.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're apparently working for peace in Ukraine.
They're working for it.
I
get
don't
it.
know that it's in good faith at this point.
Well, and I don't think that... Well, I agree with that, because I think that the cards could be played stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could force our hand more firmly than what we're doing.
Against Ukraine.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, my bad. I thought that was assumed, but you're right. Yeah, against Ukraine.
I think it should be clarified.
Yeah, against Ukraine. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you want to transition to the other...
Yeah, I was trying to
crisis
figure out how to
that's
make these
going
things
on.
fit together, because I do also want to talk about this Venezuela thing as a jumping off point for invading other countries where we're not happy with how things are going. Because there has been talk about Cuba, there's been talk about Iran, which has some stuff going on.
Which,
that
by
I
the
think's
way,
relevant.
like, Trump is pretty openly threatening those countries.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this is just like people in the background saying stuff. Like, Trump's like pretty openly saying, like,
Greenland, even. What the?
Yeah, that's going to be the next pivot, is going after, like, it looks pretty strong to me. Like, we're going to seriously go after Greenland.
Yeah, I mean, and so it seems that under Trump we have, and I think this has been more or less true for a while, but now it's out in the open. Like I said earlier, a might makes right policy.
Yeah.
That, hey, we're going to do this thing. You can't stop us.
Yeah.
You're going to try and stop us, Denmark?
Yeah, exactly.
And and it just like
The
very
one-
clearly exposes this idea that the international liberal order, or whatever you want to call it, international law, is only a law for everybody else.
Oh yeah.
And since we're the nation that actually enforces it, we exclude ourselves and anybody else that we deem fit to exclude.
Yeah.
Israel, for example, and we just do what we please.
Yeah.
And we try and hold everybody else accountable to this international law that we just completely disregard.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is, part of being the biggest power. you
Yeah.
know.
And this idea of the shining light on the hill, we've completely given up that image of ourselves.
Yeah.
Anybody who still holds that image of us, any American citizen who still holds that image of us as the shining city on the hill to be an example and a beacon to everybody else in the world of liberalism and freedom, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah. It's just not based in reality.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when that was true. I mean, maybe even as far as Eisenhower, although I think it was given up before that too. But
Yeah.
I mean, at least Eisenhower's making the statements about that it's every other country's right to determine for themselves where they're going.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you wanted to shift to
The Minnesota. Is that the direction we want to go? Like just
Sure.
it must be wild living in Minnesota right now.
I can't even imagine.
I wouldn't want to.
It must be wild living in Minneapolis. I suspect that most of Minnesota is
That's probably pretty tame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so. I'll just start with what's astonishing to me is that one independent reporter that really kind of just looked at what was going around in his neighborhood was able to unseat the sitting governor from running for re-election.
Yeah, and the last vice presidential candidate.
Yeah,
for the
on top
Democrat
of that,
Party.
he was the vice president. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that one guy just kind of looked around and was like, you know what, this looks weird. I'm going to look into it.
Yeah,
And
Walls got
that's
out just
where-
in time, though, didn't he?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's now I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like everybody has an extreme bias in the reporting. I'm not there to see. I think that the extent of the corruption and fraud is exaggerated from what I can tell.
Yeah.
That's not to say that there's not corruption and fraud.
It's
there
pretty
absolutely
clear
is.
that there is. Yeah.
there absolutely
The level
is.
is up for debate, I would say,
Yeah.
at the least.
And what I would say to people from a libertarian perspective is this is what you can expect with a government funded industry.
Yeah.
Like if you pump a bunch of money, government money, taxpayer money, public money,
Yeah.
into an industry, you're going to end up with fraud.
Yeah.
I wish that they would tackle Medicaid fraud next.
All right. Yeah.
And it's not because I think that it's of epic proportions or whatever, but there's a lot of it there.
But there's
and
a
it's
lot,
just
yeah.
defrauding the taxpayer of all this money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if the government says, "Hey, we're gonna pay for this industry. We're gonna drop money into this industry to promote this industry," then people are gonna get into it just to get the government paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. And clearly there's not enough oversight to make sure that the service is even being performed, at least in a lot of cases.
Yeah, because there never is. And there's probably, a bunch of situations where this is another way. One of the results of this kind of government policy is that it results in a lot of handouts to friends of government workers.
In this case, Somalis.
In this case, Somalis. I bet it's not just Somalis. I'm sure
bet
there are
it's not.
plenty of white people out there doing the same thing.
I'm sure there is, but man,
there does seem to be a difference in the attitude about it.
there is. Yeah.
From interviews that I've seen, it does seem that that they're just like, well, you made this money available. Like, what's wrong with what?
Yeah.
With
What?
this.
Am I not supposed to do this?
Yeah, which
Didn't realize this was a problem.
which is actually funny to me.
It is funny. It's very funny.
I mean, the whole thing's
I mean, it's
a
angering.
disaster.
I hit the thing. Yeah, it's angering, but it's funny too. Like you got to kind of step back sometimes. I mean, and I just got to say, I know everybody's seen it, but the misspelled learning sign.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, man.
You remember that Will Smith movie years ago?
Which one?
It was based on a book about a guy who became a stockbroker, but beforehand was like really struggling to take care of his kid, or that was Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh yeah.
And happiness was misspelled. And like that was the point, is this daycare that he was taking his kid to. Yeah. They had Pursuit of Happiness or Happiness on the wall, and it was misspelled like that. And he tried to point it out to them, and they're like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
funny.
same kind of
I
thing.
had forgotten about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
As I recall, I don't remember it that well, honestly.
It's been
at
a
this
long
point,
time.
but
Yeah.
I remember liking it at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's any kind of government sponsor industry is going to promote corruption and fraud.
Yeah.
That's just it. Now, the whole idea about like all this money is going to support terrorists and so forth, it's going to Al-Shabaab or whatever. No, I mean, probably some of that money is making it over there or whatever.
Yeah.
In the same way that if you do almost any business in, New York, you're probably paying the mafia in some way or another.
Yeah.
This is a thing that
money moves around.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that that's like the primary purpose of all this fraud. I think the primary purpose of all this fraud is just that they profit by it.
Yeah. It was a good investment.
Yeah.
This is a good way to make money.
So, and then, Wall steps down, and then there's this ICE shooting, which my mom told me we absolutely had to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's not wrong. It's taken over the internet the past couple of days, which is the reason I've said at the beginning of the podcast. This has been a tiring week.
Yeah. Now, for me personally, like, I think that this is just the distraction that the administration's been looking for to get you unfocused on the Venezuela debacle.
Well, I think that the Venezuelan debacle was just the distraction that the administration was looking for to get you off the Epstein. Oh, so, like, there's a strange line running here. I don't know. I don't have a chalkboard to connect the dots, but I'm just saying they're there.
Maybe it's this thing. It's like, oh, well, let's just keep getting them refocused on something else so they never follow through on anything.
Well, and that's always been Trump's playbook.
Yeah.
Like that's how his last administration worked. This one's no different. Like a lot of things going on at one time, and you can't keep up.
If I act just crazy enough, they'll never stop me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, to start with, I feel like I have to say with the ICE shooting that I think that it was totally justified.
Yeah, it pains me. Like, people who know me and listen to this podcast know I'm not exactly a fan of law enforcement. Never have been. But you have to be compliant. Like, if officers ask you to step out of the car, like, you're under an obligation to step out of the car, like those type of things. Mm-hmm. And like, when you watch the video, like, this person is clearly just causing problems.
Yeah.
And not in like a justified way,
Well, and so I think that you do have a right to interfere with government law enforcement action if it is
unlawful.
Illegal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlawful. That's a better word, actually.
Yeah.
If it's unlawful. That said, it doesn't excuse you from using what I think can be accurately described as lethal force against law enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah.
A car is a deadly weapon, potentially.
Oh, 100% agree.
And
no question.
If I was there and I was armed, I'd have shot her too.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. Especially,
I would have shot her to defend myself. I would have shot her to defend you.
Yeah.
It's just like it doesn't have anything to do with them being law enforcement. It doesn't. That you have no special rights as law enforcement. I will maintain to my grave that you don't have any special rights as law enforcement. But at the same time, lethal action against anybody can be responded to with lethal action.
Yeah. Whether it's just me and you, you know.
And I think it would have been justified if it was just me and you, and I think it's justified in this case too.
Yeah, I like I say, I've watched the videos. I hadn't studied them, so I know people are going to be like, "Well, if you watch this frame by frame, you know, like I get it, buddy." But at the same time, like it's pretty clear what's going on in that video. Like she's blocking traffic. They're trying to get her out of the way. Like, come on, like you know.
Well, and so I am bothered by the whole thing about the cop that took the shot was dragged behind a car and so forth. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, it does speak to why he was maybe a little bit more prepared to shoot.
Yeah,
but it doesn't justify the action further.
Yeah.
The action is justified by the potential threat to the life of the officers.
Yeah.
Or to people generally.
Yeah. Which,
right?
Yeah.
So, now what the aspect of this, honestly, I don't find this particularly interesting.
Yeah.
What I do find interesting is just the attitude, like, that you feel like you could get away with this. There's like a level of hubris on her part and maybe a complete lack of a self-preservation instinct.
Yeah.
That like she feels like she could get away with this kind of action because she's protesting against the authoritarian Trump regime. And I'm saying that with air quotes, right?
Yeah.
While meanwhile, there are protests going on in Iran against an actual authoritarian regime where there have been several dozen people killed by law enforcement and hundreds of people arrested.
Yeah.
And those people know that that's a potential consequence to what they're doing out there in the streets protesting against the regime in Iran.
Yeah.
And I think that this kind of speaks to like a disconnectedness maybe of people here, because I don't think this woman would have acted that way if she truly believed in her heart that she was acting against a real authoritarian regime, because that threat would have been there.
Yeah.
I think she acted in a way that she felt like there were no consequences. And if she felt like there were no consequences, that belies the idea that you're protesting against an authoritarian regime.
Exactly.
Now, that's not to say that I don't think we're moving in the wrong direction, because I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to step up and make sure that we don't end up with an authoritarian regime. And I do think that that's the direction that we're going.
Oh, yeah.
That said, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're trying to prevent that. And in the meantime, you got to at least have enough sense to not try and use lethal force with the idea that you're not going to suffer any consequences from it.
Yeah. Because that's just living in fantasy land.
Yeah. I mean, what you're doing is you're furthering the regime's cause if it's moving towards an authoritarianism by acting in this way.
Yeah.
You're giving them an excuse, a legitimate excuse to use lethal force against the citizenry.
Yeah.
If you're going to be out there protesting, act right.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not opposed to you protesting. I think you should be protesting.
Yeah.
But act right.
Yeah. I am opposed to you blocking roadways.
I am too. Like, you're getting in everything way.
I need to use those roads.
Yeah.
I got to get to work.
No, and that's not unreasonable either. I think that you're right there. But I think that I think that her actions speak to a comfort in what she was doing that wouldn't exist if you were actually fighting against a real authoritarian regime.
And a lot of it is just trying to get media attention.
Well,
because I'm sure there's an aspect of that with this
social media attention.
Yeah, well,
you want that viral TikTok clip or whatever.
That's
right?
what I'm getting at. Yeah.
But
obviously, because that's the only media that really exists anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Like the mainstream media is dead.
I think that what you should do out there is that you should act with the knowledge that that you can overstep bounds,
Yeah.
and that if you overstep bounds, something terrible could happen, like this.
Yeah.
And the difference between what's going on in the U.S. and what's going on in Iran is this: is that those people recognize those bounds, know that they actually have a shorter leash, and are still willing to risk it and get out there.
Yeah.
And I think that if Americans had the same feeling about the risk, they wouldn't do the same thing, because it's not worth it to them.
Yeah. No, that's
Because it's
true.
not to the same extreme.
Exactly, because we're not at that level yet.
Yeah.
Not to say that we won't get there. And by the way, like, it's both sides. This isn't like well, Trump is an authoritarian. Yeah, he is, but so was Biden, so was Obama. Like, you go down the list.
So is Bush. So yeah.
They're all heading the same direction.
Yeah. Every single one of these presidents has taken on more and more authority.
Yeah. And as it goes on, Congress relinquishes more and more of its authority, and so we end up in a situation where, the top is the king.
Yeah. And Trump has been the worst so far.
He
But
has.
the next guy is going to be the worst so far.
Will be worse. Yeah.
They're not giving up any of this power, and we have allowed it.
And Congress isn't reclaiming any of it either.
And that's where you need to make your stand, is by electing the right people.
Yeah, we need
Right
200
now.
Thomas Masseys
Yeah,
up there.
we don't need to be out there in the streets with guns yet.
No.
Right now, you need to be at the polling booths
Yeah.
and selecting actual good people, not people based on what letters next to their name.
Yep.
Like, look into the people that you're voting for, see what they're really about, and vote for the right person.
Yeah. Can't say enough about Thomas Massey, man. We need more of them. Because it's like him and Rand Paul sometimes, and,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's about the extent of it. So there's a lot of work to be done in that respect.
Yeah, and I'm bad about that too, honestly.
Well, we
Don't
all
neglect your local elections. I do. I feel bad, and part of it is because of this hobby of mine.
Yeah.
Doing this podcast, is that I end up focused on higher level issues, and I don't pay enough attention to the local stuff and who's running for office here. Of course, this is local office here is pretty corrupt too.
Oh, pretty is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's extremely corrupt.
And it's probably true everywhere.
I think Alabama, though, in general, has pretty corrupt politics. And
I think that that's probably true everywhere.
I mean, it may be.
I think it's true everywhere because people don't pay enough attention, and they're too focused on higher level national and international issues and not paying attention to the local issues and the local politicians.
Yeah.
The change that needs to be made in this country needs to start at the local level, and I recognize that, and I'm not playing my part. I mean, I did run for office once, but
So you've helped. You've contributed.
I have contributed.
Yeah.
But I think that that's where, like, we all need to be out finding the right kind of person to run for offices that matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that includes city councils and so forth. But I think especially, one of these is probably true everywhere. And this next one may not be. I think county commissioner is like a really important office in Alabama.
Yeah.
I think throughout the nation, sheriff is probably the most important office.
Yeah.
And that's where you need to concentrate and find good people to fill that office.
We the people have to take this government back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the Baldwin County Libertarian Convention is this weekend. 2:00 at Beef O'Brady's in Spanish Fort. Now, this is news to Mike because
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Did I say
Sunday?
Saturday?
You said this weekend. You didn't specify.
Okay. Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah. 2:00 Sunday.
Sunday, 2:00, Beef O'Brady's in Spanish Fort.
Yeah.
All right. Any of you that are local, show up.
Yeah. I may or may not be there.
Come on.
My daughter's getting baptized.
Your dog is getting baptized?
Daughter.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Pretty late, isn't it?
No.
Oh, do you? Yeah, Baptists.
Yeah,
You guys
we
that
do
late.
things a little different.
So I grew up Episcopalian. We would be actually like it would be a little old for confirmation, and baptism would have been done as a infant.
Oh yeah. I think we do like a thing when they're infants or whatever. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm not that good of a Baptist. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like,
Okay.
I mean, that's my crew, but
I mean, no, being not that good of a Baptist is probably better than being a good Baptist, honestly.
maybe. But
That might get some emails. Michael at thelibertymike.com. Go ahead. Send me your hate. I don't mind. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. We're at like the right time now.
Oh,
so
yeah?
it's about 50
So
minutes. So we're like, yeah.
we
This is
nailed
where
it.
this is where we want to be.
Okay.
And I didn't end up talking for an hour about Venezuela, which I really thought that I would. What that means is there were a whole bunch of things that I wanted to say about it that I didn't.
That you left out.
Yeah, because I can only make so many notes.
Yeah. Well,
But
I'm sure there'll be more information next week as
Yeah.
this thing moves along.
yeah, we'll have to go back to it because the media will have abandoned it entirely by then.
Yeah, there'll be some other new shiny thing.
Some new crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean. Like and share, comment, subscribe. You can always email me, Michael at thelibertymike.com. Tell me what you think about Baptists.
Yeah. That's my crew. Be careful.
I won't share anything that's really rude with Liberty Larry. Yeah, I guess that's all the things, right? So we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.